What's going on, guys? First off, before I get started, I want to appreciate and thank everybody that tunes in to my content, and want to thank everybody who is subscribed to my channel. If you're new to my channel, be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and that notification bell. Hit the notification bell. It will notify you whenever I put out new content. And I put out content Monday through Saturdays, and I go live during games. Now, let's get right into it. You have the Florida Gators going into Columbia to take on the South Carolina Gamecocks. Now, the Gamecocks is coming off a win against Mississippi State. And they had a bye week this past weekend. Florida is coming off of a win against Vandy. Can South Carolina pull an upset over Florida in Columbia? They're going to have to hope that sandstorm crowd gets loud, obnoxious, and raucous. I'm afraid that Florida is going to go into this game and pull an upset over South Carolina. South Carolina has some injuries on the offensive line. The receivers haven't been doing quite a good job catching the ball here lately. And being as South Carolina's offensive line has struggled during games, I don't know if they're going to be able to hold up against Florida's defensive line. Now, Florida isn't all that good this year. And of course, hardly any SEC team has done that good this year. But I just don't think South Carolina's offensive line can hold up to Florida's defensive line. Spencer Rattler is going to have to be on his A game as the receivers. Now, I've seen South Carolina's receivers drop quite a bit of passes. They're going to have to catch the ball when Rattler throws it to them. If Florida's defensive line can get to Spencer Rattler, all they have to do is let Spencer Rattler know they're there, and he gets discombobulated, and he wants to leave the pocket earlier than what he should. If you get pressure to Spencer Rattler, he gets, and I've seen it, he gets where he gets rattled and he starts making mistakes. Now, I think Florida's going to pull an upset against South Carolina. I think Shane Beamer and his South Carolina Gamecocks is going to get upset by Florida. Now, Florida has improved here lately. And Mertz is a good quarterback. Even though he hadn't done quite as good this year. As of course, this is his first time being at Florida and playing for Florida. South Carolina's going to have trouble with him if that defensive line and linebackers can't keep him contained, because he will throw on you. And I believe Florida has the receivers to beat South Carolina's defensive backs and safeties. South Carolina, they're just not a good football team. It seems like South Carolina cannot hardly compete with other teams out there. I don't know if that's Shane Beamer and his coaching staff. I don't know if it's the players. And I know people's going to say, well, they hung with Georgia. They scored this many points against Georgia. They put up this many points against Mississippi State. But I just don't think South Carolina has the team to beat the Florida Gators at home. I think Florida will go in to South Carolina and they will upset them in their own home stadium. I see Florida coming away with a win in this ball game. That's my opinion. Now, other people might have South Carolina winning this game because they're playing at home, and that gives South Carolina an advantage. But I just don't see South Carolina pulling this game out. I think Billy Napier and that defensive coordinator is going to do everything they can to get to Spencer Rattler and rattling. And I said rattling. I think South Carolina is going to have a hard time slowing ETN and their other running back down. Two great running backs. Florida has two great running backs. And I could see both of them breaking for long yard touchdowns against South Carolina's defense. South Carolina don't even have a running game. Of course, they have that transfer from what? Division II, Division III school? Now, he did break a long run against Tennessee. for a touchdown. But I don't see him doing that against Florida's defense. I think Florida's defensive coordinator is going to have them ready for Spencer Rattler and that running game. I think South Carolina's in trouble. I think South Carolina's in trouble. At home at that. Woo! That's what South Carolina's going to be doing during that game. Is that you? Where you at? Where you at? Woo! Where you at? Florida has the better talent on both sides of the ball than South Carolina. Florida has the running backs. They have the running backs. They have a real good tight end too, and I'm not saying he's the best, but he's a pretty good tight end. Y'all leave me some comments down below in the comments section and give me y'all's prediction of this South Carolina-Florida game. Like I said, I think Florida's going to go into South Carolina and they're going to win this game. Now, will this bye week that South Carolina had, will that help them get some players back that have been out? Will it help them get rested up and be prepared for this game? South Carolina's going to have to hope that Spencer Rattler brings his A game and don't make too many mistakes. Now, do I think this game will be a blowout? I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think it'll be a pretty close game, but Florida pulls it out in the end. If South Carolina loses to Florida, what happens to Shane Beamer? Will fans want Shane Beamer out of there at the end of the season or after next year? Or will the athletic department want Shane Beamer out of there? He's already had a loss to Georgia. He's already had a loss to Tennessee. That's 2 conference games right there. So you're out of the playoffs. You're out of it for the SEC championship. And vice versa for Billy Napier. If he loses against South Carolina, will fans start complaining and want him out of Gainesville? Or will the athletic department want him out of there? I appreciate y'all watching my video. And thanks to everyone that tunes in to my content. If you're new, be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I sure appreciate it. And like always, win, lose, or tie, I'm a Dog fan till the day I die. Go Dogs!